Hi there, QuickBooks experts. I hope all is well, and I pray that as you're viewing this video that you're in the best of health and spirit. This video will cover Chapter 2, an overview of QuickBooks Online. So the student learning outcomes for this chapter is that upon completion of this chapter, the student will be able to do the following: identify the basic features of QuickBooks Online, explain how QuickBooks Online is similar to and differs from the desktop version of QuickBooks. As mentioned in my previous video, QuickBooks Desktop is stationary to whichever desktop laptop that you download the software to. Therefore, you would need to physically be using the laptop or desktop where QuickBooks Desktop is downloaded to. However, with QuickBooks Online, all you need is an internet connection and you can literally access QuickBooks Online from anywhere in the world. You'll also be able to open the QuickBooks company you created. In the preface of this text, you'll provide information to QuickBooks Online about your company. You'll successfully navigate the QuickBooks Online dashboard, assign your instructor as their accountant, and use the QuickBooks Online help feature. The focus of this chapter is to introduce you to QuickBooks Online and get your account and company established. A description of QuickBooks Online is going to be provided along with a brief comparison of how QuickBooks Online differs from the desktop version. The text includes instructions that were provided by Intuit, and you basically get to create your own personal account with Intuit, and you can create up to 4 companies, and a company name is going to be assigned. So welcome to the journey of learning how to utilize QuickBooks Online. So what is QuickBooks Online? So as mentioned, QuickBooks Online is basically an online version of the popular QuickBooks accounting software that's developed by Intuit. The software is designed to capture common business events like purchases from and payments to vendors, sales to and collections from customers, payments and receipts to from other operating, investing, and financing activities, period end accrual adjustments, and reports. And these reports include the basic financial statement. So income statement, which shows our revenue and our expenses. We have the statement of stockholders' equity, which shows any increases and decreases to stockholders' equity, the balance sheet, which shows us assets, liabilities, and owner's equity, and statement of cash flows, which basically shows us a more detailed overview of cash inflows to the company and cash outflows, and it's broken down based on operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. And then QuickBooks also has some other useful reports, as we see here, like accounts receivable aging, accounts payable aging. So there's a plethora of ad hoc reports that can be created using QuickBooks Online. All interaction with QuickBooks Online, as mentioned, is done via the internet. So once you have an internet connection, you can use QuickBooks Online. So in other words, if you do not have internet connection, you cannot work offline. All interaction with QuickBooks is done online. There's no files to maintain on a computer. So once you work on something, it's saved automatically. So obviously, if you need to undo something, you will need to delete or avoid it. So there's no need for backup files. The monthly fee for using QuickBooks, and it's non-educational version, it'll cover up to 4 companies. And this text includes access to QuickBooks Online for a limited amount of time. So how is QuickBooks Online similar to, different from the desktop version of QuickBooks Online? Well, we know online means all you need is an internet connection. Desktop means that it is stationary to a specific computer or laptop. So even though the two products share the name QuickBooks, they are unrelated. QuickBooks Online isn't a copy of QuickBooks that has been web enabled. So they are different products. They have different database structures and approaches to solving problems, even though they were both developed by the same company to essentially assist companies with their bookkeeping and accounting. Not all of the features that are available in QuickBooks Online are available in the desktop version, vice versa. QuickBooks Online requires a monthly fee. Desktop version requires a one-time purchase and no monthly fee. So this is just to go through some of the key differences between QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, so you can feel free to go through this information on your own time. So we're moving on to opening the QuickBooks Online company that we created in the preface. So you were assigned a company and you're going to receive an email that states the following: So it says your instructor has invited you to create your own QuickBooks company. And then you're basically going to accept the invitation. So it states, follow these steps to create your new company. Accept the invitation by clicking on the button above. On the Intuit account sign up screen, enter your information, choose a password. You know, you obviously want to keep your password safe. And then you enter your first name in the company field, and then you basically go from there. So here we'll select accept invitation. And this is going to allow us to create a new QuickBooks Online account. All right, so these are our options. And we'll create it as though it's a brand new company. And we're just going to put it side by side to make it a little easier. All right, so I'll do it as though I'm creating a new account. So I'll create a new account. Here's my email address. I'll get a check mark if, you know, this account was not taken. It's saying that it's already taken. So I will just sign in such case. But for those of you that are creating it, and obviously this, you don't already have a QuickBooks account, so you're gonna input your email address. It's gonna ask you to confirm your email address. It's gonna ask you for your first name, your last name. You're gonna create a password, and then you input your phone number. So this is optional. If you check this, then you receive automated marketing messages. Obviously it says optional, so you do not need to complete that. So just keep that in mind. So once you get the company all set up, once you type this QuickBooks, you can either type it, you can copy and paste it. So let's say I'm going to access it. Again, I already have an account, so I'll log in. And we'll just skip this. We'll move along. All right, let's see if this is going to let us go to a new client. So this won't let us get to a new client. Let's see. So what I think we'll do is create just a brand new client. So I'll create a new email address. Let's see if this one works. Okay, perfect. This one is already used. All right, so all of these are taking. So let's figure this one out. I'm going to just create a brand new email. All right, perfect. So one more step, create my password. All right, so it'll send me a code. All right, so now we are finally where we need to be. So all of the hiccups that I just had, obviously, as you guys are working through creating your new company, you guys won't have that issue. All right, so we finally get to the welcome screen. So welcome. Here we see Intuit QuickBooks, one place to run and grow your business. We get started. So it's asking for starters, what is your business called? So Wild Water Sports, then I'll input my name. We'll select next. So you can type in both your student name and number, just your name will suffice, but whatever works best for you. Then it asks, how have you been managing your finances? Select nothing. So some of the things you'll see is a little bit different. So what were you using before, essentially? We'll select something else or nothing. I'm just getting started, nothing. I'm new to this. We'll select next. And then it asks to tell us more about wild water sports and what kind of business it is and what it does. So here it's asking, let's see, how we've been managing nothing. if it's the main source of income. So business type. So C corporation, we'll have to move around with some of the things because obviously some of the things have changed. We'll just say less than 1 million. All right, and then interest optional, so we can leave that blank. So once it asks, tell us more about Water Sports, we'll just leave this blank. Business type would be a C corporation based on step 9. And then how much did your company generate? We'll just put less than 1 million. So we'll select next. And then it says, now let's talk about your business. So it's asking, what is your main role? We select bookkeeper or accountant. And it asks how many employees. We'll just select I'm not sure. Then we'll just select next. Then it's asking us, you nail the basics, let's keep going. So which one do we want to do? So we can select saying personalize your invoices, make them payable, learn how to start paying yourself and your team, link a bank account. So we'll just select, you know what, do this first. And then we'll select skip for now. And then we'll just skip for now all the way till we get to actually be in QuickBooks. So obviously what we see in the textbook is a little different. Select not now. So we're not purchasing anything. Again, we're using this for educational purposes. And now we finally get to the step here. Here it states anything here you'd like to do another time. Here it's asking, what do you want to do in QuickBooks? So we want to send and track invoices. We want to manage and pay bills. We want to manage inventory, manage sales tax. We want to track my team's time and track sales. We select next. And then now it is getting everything ready for us. So now we get to step 17. We click let's go. All right, now we are officially in Wild Water Sports. So again, you can put your ID number, you don't have to, but the key thing is obviously your name should be there. So we are officially in Wild Water Sports. So again, there were a bit of hiccups because I obviously have Intuit accounts already, but once you receive that email, I showed you the email before, I'll show it again. Once you receive this email, it will essentially let you know, hey, your instructor sent you a company and it should be easy. You're going to be setting up a brand new company. You will accept the invitation and then all of the steps, nuances, you guys can use this video to just go along. So the first thing it's asking us to do is to click the gear icon to view the settings menu. So we click the gear icon and then it states to click account and settings. So we click the account and settings, it matches figure 210, and it's asking us to click on company, which is already clicked. Then we click on the pencil icon in the company name section. So here it's asking us edit. So we select edit. And we already have it saying type Wild Water Sports student name ID number, replacing student name with your name and ID number in the company name text box, right? So this is already done pretty much. We're good to go. We select save. And then it's asking us to click the pencil icon in the company type section. So here, if we scroll down, we'll see entity type. We already have it as a corporation, so we're good to go. We just select save. It's already saved as the entity type. And again, there are some differences. Here we see it says company type, tax form, industry. Here it says entity type, right? So there's a little bit of nuance, but again, it's doing the same thing. So we select done. And then here it wants us to update some of the address. So back in the account settings, I didn't mean to select done. So here we have business address. We select edit. We can start to input the address. So it's 5500 East Colonial Drive, Drive, Orlando, Florida. So it automatically, picks it up for us. So we select save, and we'll take their suggestion. So we select save. And then next it wants us to go to the sales tab. And it says to make sure that the preferred invoice terms are set to net 30 in the sale. So we see here, and this is where we see the pencil. In company, we're seeing edit, but in sales, we see the pencil, which allows us to update it accordingly. And it is net 30, so we're good to go from there. And then now we close the settings. So here it wants us to go to Appendix 1, and they want us to complete this. So we go to Appendix 1, and it's saying some companies are required to collect sales tax from customers depending on the state in which they do business. Collecting sales tax has gotten easier. There's a new automated sales tax experience, so it's showing us how to set it up. So we go to the navigation bar, we select taxes, and then we select sales tax. And in here we get started. We select next. All right, and it's saying that it doesn't have an address for us as yet, so we're going to update the address. The address was 5500 East Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida. So we select next. And then here is showing California, but in our situation, it is Florida. So we select quarterly. Next, have we registered for sales tax with any other agency? Select back. We'll select no. Then we just select finish and turn on sales tax. All right, and then we are good to go. So now if we go back to chapter 2, we set up the sales tax, and I believe that's the last step. For this section, we set up the sales tax. And then now it's basically telling us to sign out, but we're not going to sign out because we're going to keep working on it. So we select next. And then navigating QuickBooks Online. So the dashboard provides links to various tasks and resources. And by clicking bank transactions, so we go back to our navigation bar, transactions, bank transactions, and this will let us set up a new checking account and view transactions. Clicking sales provides access to adding invoices, new customers, will view existing balances and highlight any overdue accounts. Clicking expenses is going to provide access to new expenses, new vendors, view existing balances, and highlight overdue accounts. And clicking payroll is going to provide access to new employees and viewing payroll information. And the transactions and reports links are going to be addressed later in this text. So it's saying we're going to need to log into our account. So we didn't sign out. We're still in the account. So steps 1, steps 2, we're good to go. We are already in the QuickBooks file. So it's asking us to click dashboards. And once we're in dashboards, we see the dashboard as follows. We see we have a setup checkup list. So now that we're back in the QuickBooks Online file, it's time for us to explore. So there's several features that we want to know how to utilize. So QuickBooks Online Help. So if we look to the top right, we see that there's a circle with a question mark in it with the words help next to it. So if we click on the help button, that's located in the upper right portion, then we have a search tab. So let's say we need to do something in QuickBooks Online and we're not sure how to do it. We can just search for it using keywords. So we have add an account, and we press enter. And once we select that, it shows us a list of different articles, and sometimes it'll take us directly to where we need to go. So here it says add an account to your chart of accounts in QuickBooks Online. So if we look, we click on it, and then it essentially shows us what needs to be done, right? So that's just a feature. And another thing you can do is just select jump to chart of accounts, and the program will directly take you to where you need to go. So we go back, and then now we input sales tax. And then you see it gives us the feature. It'll take us directly to sales tax. And then we're looking for the article that says set up your sales tax in QuickBooks Online. So we click this. And then there's a report that basically lets us know how to set up and edit and deactivate sales tax. So that's a feature, something to keep in mind if there's something you don't understand in QuickBooks. So that is the help option. Now it's asking us to close the help window, which we just did. We open our navigation bar and select plus new button at the top of the dashboard. And we see that there's several columns. We have customers, vendors, team, and other. So if we click outside of the new menu, we get to see sales again. And then in sales, we see customers. So here it wants us to go to sales. We click on customers. And then we can import a list of customers, or we can also add customers manually. So in this case, if we add a customer manually, we simply just click it. And then QuickBooks is going to ask us what's the customer's name, middle name, last name, suffix, what's the company name? Because maybe it's not necessarily it's an individual, maybe it's a business. What is going to be displayed for any bills and invoices? What's the email, phone number, things of that nature. If we're sending an email, who should we carbon copy? Who should we blind copy? Mobile number, fax, etc. Address. So all of these things can be updated. We select off of this. And then now it asks us to do the same thing for vendors. So we go to expenses and we select vendors. It's the same thing. We can either import vendors or we can add them. We input the vendor's company name, the display, the name of the contact person, the email address, phone number, mobile number, fax, website, etc., address. So the same thing that can be done for the customers can also be done for the vendors. Now with payroll, same thing for employees. Here we see we can add employees. So in this case, it's asking us to sign up for something. We're not going to sign up for anything. Here it says not ready for payroll, but still want to track employees' time. We can help. Yes, so we would add an employee. We would input their name, middle initial, last name, email, and the date that they were hired. So once we click out of that, we go back to our gear icon. And then with the gear icon, let's say that you have more than one company, you can switch the company that you need to, but obviously as of right now, you just see one company. But once we start with chapter 3, you're also going to get access to Monroe U Surfboarders, and that would be your second company. And with that, you will be able to switch between companies. So this last step is essentially showing you how to assign an instructor for a company account. And so your instructor is going to, let's say you are working on the QuickBooks file and you have some questions, there's something you don't understand, then you will be able to assign access to your instructor. So you'll click on My Accountant. And then from there, you would input the name or the email address rather, and you would invite that instructor, and then they will be able to get access. So that way, and just like in the profession, if you have a client and they want you to work on the books for them, then the same process, you would select My Accountant, and then that client would input your email address and you would receive an email similar to the one that you received for this course, where you can accept the invitation and you would now have access to the company's books. So there are some video tutorials of QuickBooks Online developed and maintained by Intuit. So Intuit is the developer of QuickBooks Online. They've made available video tutorials. There are step-by-step videos to learn how to navigate QuickBooks Online. So in order to view some of the videos online, here you have QuickBooks. You can just select it and it will directly take you to a plethora of videos that are available for you to know how to do things within QuickBooks pretty much. So they have videos such as Introduction to QuickBooks Online, overview of the features and benefits of QuickBooks, how to manually import transactions. So as mentioned, there are a plethora of videos that can be watched to know how to navigate QuickBooks. So this brings us to the end of chapter 2. So you've been introduced to QuickBooks Online, its basic features, and how it is similar but not the same as the desktop version. So you've created your account. I've shown you guys the email where it says action required. Your instructor has invited you to create a QuickBooks Online Plus company. And then chapter 2 shows you how to navigate. You've updated a few settings. After assigning your instructor as the accountant, they will have access to now navigate. So if you ever have any questions using the QuickBooks Online, your instructor can assist with the process. So we've explored the sample company in chapter 1. You've input some information and got a bit more understanding of how to navigate in chapter 2. In chapter 3, you're going to demonstrate your understanding of how to navigate QuickBooks, and you're going to practically apply the theoretical concepts in chapter 3 using wild water sports. And then at the end of each chapter, from chapters 3 to chapters 10, you're going to use a similar company. You're going to be assigned a case for Monroe U surfboarders, and you're going to reinforce what you've learned in the chapter using wild water sports using a second company, Monroe U surfboarders. So this brings us to the end of chapter 2. Navigating QuickBooks Online.